And while I was doing that, I started to figure out what I wanted to do. So I was getting ready to say, my partner who you met, the other guy in the yellow hoodie, he was my first real sparring partner when we were kids. He's a year older than me. So him, his brother, and a few other guys, my dad trained us all. So it was an 18-year gap where I didn't talk to him, just because life, he was a hockey player, and he went over hockey.
Yeah, he gave me hockey
boxing.
player vibes. Tell him I said that too, because he's the one who said you're special ed.
You heard that, Kate?
Lord, you still with that thing. You're not gonna let it go.
So one day, while I was making this transition, me and my wife were at my dad's house. The kids were swimming, and me and my dad were talking about just the fights. We always talk about the fights. And something told me to ask him what's Key's last name. For whatever reason, I didn't know his last name. And we punch each other in the head quite often. But he told me his last name. I looked him up on Facebook, shot him a message, and he got back to me within minutes and was like, "Yo, bro, I was just telling somebody about you, like, cause he, boxing is a part of his life too. So he, and he invited me in for a workout. Not at the location you came to, but he has another location at the Hollywood Ice Arena.
Okay.
And I went in. I walk in this gym, and I see squat racks, dumbbells, like it looks like your traditional gym, right? So I'm like, oh yeah, this is the place I need to be. So within 5 minutes of catching up, he's like, you want to work out? So I'm like, all right, let's work out. I hadn't talked to this dude in 18 years. He cooked me. I mean, killed me in this workout. To the point where my sugar dropped, and I'm 10 minutes in and I'm seeing stars. I had to sit down, and and I've been lifting for many years now, so I'm thinking you go in and you traditional lift, right? You lift, you do a set,
he had
you
to
take
jump
a
all
break.
over the place, pushing the weights down.
Yeah, well, that's what took me out. The push plate.
good.
That's called push plate.
Push plate.
I did the first bracket of push plate, right? It's 3 exercises. Push plate was in there. I did the first one. I'm like, all right. Now I feel it coming on, but I'm like, all right, I'm all right. So now I'm trying to pace myself, but he's like, come on. So the second one, I'm down pushing the plate. When I stood up, it just hit me. Lightheaded,
You're
dizzy.
probably dehydrated too.
Well, I mean, I know it was. My sugar dropped,
Yeah.
right? I hadn't put my body through that kind of training in a long time.
Yeah.
So I remember I'm laying down, and he's sitting Indian style just laughing. You know what I mean? And he's like, look, bro, he's like, come work out with me during the week, 5 a.m. I'll get you back in shape. So I'm like, all right, cool. And like I said, by the grace of God, it worked out to where I started training with him. He got me back in shape. We started doing boxing workouts, just me and him.
Okay.
And then he was like, yo, I want you to come to the art museum with me. I got some guys, some hockey guys that are from overseas. And the art museum and the Rocky Steps, that's a big thing, right? So he always does a workout out there. So he let me lead the boxing part of it.
Okay.
And then from there, I started training some young youth hockey players with boxing, because he knew the benefits of what it did for him when he was a young hockey player.
Right.
And then one thing led to the next. So I then started.
Back.
So
bringing that passion
I started. Now I did train. I did do boxing. I was a coach boxing 2019 2023 at another gym.
At another
so I was still in it,
Okay.
but I had left that place as well. So it just was like the perfect timing with TA.
Right.
Yeah, it was like a fresh start.
Yeah.
And with him, he really showed me the light with fitness, with sports performance, and he brought me on board. And then I started doing off-ice performance and just performance across all sports for the athletes of training aspects.
Okay.
And then we decided to go full-fledged and invest in, doing the boxing gym.
Right.
And that's where we're at today. So we actually, January was a year that we had been doing the boxing program.
Oh,
nice.
And I think it's good, especially when you have a partner and from different backgrounds, but almost like a similar background, because you guys look totally different.
Absolutely.
And so there's different, it's a different audience that you'll be in front of. And I think that, so the fact that he has that hockey experience, I just, it's a good match.
Yeah, absolutely.
He talks.
Me and
he
Ted
likes to
gotta get over there.
Yes, you do. You really do. It's actually
gotta
good.
get
I'm
over
coming
there.
again this
I
week.
think so too.
Yeah.
So
that small demo, I'm like, I'm hyped up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready.
she thinks she's Holyfield.
No, Mike Tyson. Remember, you don't like Mike Tyson.
I know that was.
It's not that I like Mike.
They're not letting you live this down. They're not letting you live this down.
Yes.
So I want to know. You talked about you really left. You just took a leap of faith, right? And you had children, your wife. you were, I'm assuming, the breadwinner, right? You made really good money, you said. So, like, what impact did that have on you as, like, the man of the house? And then, like, what strain was that on your wife, too? Because I know it takes a little bit to, like, get yourself back up, and sometimes you just don't really know what direction you're going in.
Well, it definitely stressed me out, as you know, because you gotta let some stuff go, right? So I let a ton of credit cards, and I pretty much put myself in a hole, knowing that I'm gonna climb up out of this, but it just, it got uncomfortable, like, the trips, the eating out, and, it's like, it's gonna be a little tight for a little bit, right? But, and my wife, she, we talked about it before I made this move, so, we came to terms before it happened.
Right, which is great.
But, then now I'm hustling. I'm working 4 or 5 jobs. I'm not home as much. I'm not available as much to be in the home as a husband, to be there with the kids, like, because I'm working around the clock where sometimes I was only sleeping 2-3 hours a night. But as a man, you decide to have children, have a wife, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So,
understood.
But yeah, other than that, we're climbing out the hole. We're in a much better position now. But yeah, it was rough for sure.
Yeah.
How was it on your mental?
So, a lot of things.
And give us the raw.
Nothing is in
and real.
Any of our control,
Right.
right?
Yes.
And I understand that. So, one thing, my grandfathers, both of them, one passed away, but they were, and my other one still living. 2 stand-up men that took care of their family, provided no matter what they had to do.
So you had that good example.
Yeah. And been married 60 years.
Nice.
They don't make them like that no more.
No, they don't.
Okay.
No, they don't.
Jeez.
My one grandfather always told me that life is easy for no man, right? So when everybody else in the family is going through, when shit hits the fan, everybody's going through it, everybody else in the family can run and get behind you. But as the head of your household, you got to stand there 10 toes down and go to war with whatever's in front of you, whoever's in front of you, whatever obstacle it is. So just having guys like that to watch throughout my life, I just understand that, life is easy for no man, and you just got to do what you got to do to provide for your family.
And you had a good example. You had a couple of good examples, but there's so many, especially, I mean, black men, right, that don't have those good examples now. Like now, when we look at our kids, a lot of majority are fatherless homes,
Yes.
Unfortunately, and that's just statistics. And I think that a lot of times, what you gave the analogy, like, everybody's standing behind you, and you're like almost like blind, you're in the dark, but you had to be the one in the front to kind of like navigate through that. And I think that puts a lot of pressure. It puts a lot of pressure on a man already as it is, and then to be a black man on top of that. And I just get that emphasis because sometimes, I had a disagreement with someone, and they were like, well, yeah, but you keep saying black man, like, they're still a man. They still have every opportunity to be able to go and do what they got to do, take care of it. But this is from a white man who was saying that, obviously. So, but I just think that there's like this
The extra layer.
Yeah, there's this extra layer. Perfectly spoken, an extra layer, and it is difficult. And I think that a lot of times, and we talked about this before in the podcast, but like a lot of times women don't understand the weight that men hold. A man that is a family man,
That's
right?
what I was
Who
going to
actually
say. A man who had a role model. He had 2 role models, so that's where it comes in.
And he has that, but what if he didn't, right? It could look a lot different, right?
Oh no, for sure.
It could.
I mean, and I have a strong mother, right? My mom is
Shout
a
out
single
to
mom.
my cousin Sean.
Yeah. So although her and my father weren't together, she never kept us away from our dad, but we spent the majority of our time with my mom. But she also never kept us away from my dad's family. So I was able to see both her dad and my dad's father. And we got a strong family. We come from good
Y'all got a big
stock.
family.
Yeah, oh yeah,
We
big
got a
family.
I'm like, oh, another cousin. What you a cousin of a cousin of a cousin?
That's our grandmothers were my grandmother passed, but they were sisters.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but yeah, like you said, it's all about who your role models are. So,
And then you had, uncles, and it's not just his his grandfather. And
No, that's
his,
what I said. Role models when you have
so many, But my question to you is, so even having those supports, right, right at hand, and they're talking to you and everything. Sometimes when and this is for everybody. Sometimes when you have those feelings, like you just feel like, oh, how am I going to get out of this, or you're feeling stressed, or it's on your mental. Were you able to go and really talk to them about those type of feelings, like
For
feeling
sure.
like I might be failing right
Did
now
that
as
pride
a
step
man?
in
Because
and-
sometimes
yeah.
the pride comes in, right? And they want you to be a certain, they've raised you to be a strong man, but right now you're going through something that's a little challenging. Were you able to open up in that way?
So, to my grandfather, yes.
Okay.
The one that's still living. He doesn't necessarily agree with the decision I made.
Okay.
But he definitely, when me and him talk, he definitely eases the feelings that I'm,
That you
that
feel.
I'm going through and what I'm dealing with. But it's simple, right? It's like be a man. Like when I would get in trouble growing up, my mom she called my dad. It was like you was man enough to do it. You were man enough to take the punishment, no matter what it is. So, that's just having.
See, it's simple. That's simple for you. It's simple for you. That phrase may be simple for you because you had those examples of what that's supposed to look like. They provide, they take care of. Okay, so this is what I know. This is embedded in my head. So okay, I'm dealing with this situation. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna hustle. I'm gonna work hard.
You had
I'm gonna make
examples
sure
of how to be a man.
Yeah,
right.
and so there's so many people that don't. But you were able to talk to your grandfather, and then so I like to point out. So some people can't talk to their grandfather. They can't talk. They don't have anybody that they can actually talk to, and maybe they don't want to because they feel embarrassed, right? Because your lifestyle changed. I know. First of all, us just being adults now.
oh Lord, yes.
You literally have to be making six figures, like if you have two people in your two adults in your household. Okay, I have I'm one person in my household, and with adult kids, and it's still just not enough, right? So
Yeah.
I just wanted to just touch on this because there were studies done for men's mental health, and this is what 1,000 men said about their mental health, and this was a mixture. Okay, so the biggest cause of mental health issues in men's lives are work pressure, 32%, financial issues, 31%, and their health, 23%. Ladies, we did not make the cut. Thank you. We do not cause men stress. I
She
love
couldn't
it.
wait to say that.
We do not cause men
We did not give you that bullhead. Oh, no, but
You know what? That's a good point though, because I was going to ask you, and this is you personally, but just in general too. Like, what do men need from their significant other when they're going through things like that, and they've made that type of choice that's going to impact the family in a whole,
Yeah.
right? What do you need from your woman to help you get through those things, and when you're having those those challenging times where you feel like, oh, I don't know how we going to figure this thing out, kind of thing?
So, for me, support, right? So my wife, some people would say that she's cold.
you need a cold-blooded wife.
But she's just a strong woman, and she don't necessarily show love like how most people would think a woman would show
Like maybe
love, right?
soft or nurturing.
Yeah,
Okay,
she
got
real.
It.
You know what I mean? Like it's like, and I appreciate that because if you going
Look, Dejan's like, yeah, that's great. She raw. She like,
No, that's
she raw.
good. That's how you get a good relationship, when you're just raw.
yeah, no,
You don't have to
absolutely.
hide things.
And every once in a while, she'll shoot me a text or leave me a little note, and just be like, it's always gonna be all right, no matter what.
That
We'll
encouraging,
figure it out.
right?
A thank you here and there, but I don't expect that.
Right.
But when she does, and
But it's nice to feel appreciated. It's
Yeah,
nice to
absolutely.
feel like, you know
Right.
what, you're right. I
Acknowledging.
I'm trying. Okay, you see that. Like that could give somebody that extra push. I mean, I think that's a great question. And I feel like now, the days that we're in now, it's like a lot of times women. I saw a clip, and I wish I could have remember everything on it, but the clip I saw was a woman was getting divorced because the guy that her husband lost his job, and he was a breadwinner, and he provided, I guess prior to them, meeting, he was providing this lifestyle for them, and they shared it. They talked about it prior too, and he lost his job, and then he needed like support from her, and she had like a extra savings account, and put like money aside, like in her own special account, and he was asking her to pay bills, and she's like,
Oh, wow.
that's not.
Oh, that's not.
No.
So
like,
that wasn't really
why.
a marriage.
Why am I paying bills? This is not the lifestyle that you actually said that you were going to provide for me. And I think that is the most selfish
It is the
and
most
shallow,
selfish thing. Absolutely.
just trait a person can have. Like you said, support, being supportive, because anything can happen to somebody at any given time. It could be an accident. It could be your body could be no longer mobile. You just really don't know. And the fact that you think that somebody's going to be there and have your back, and then they're not.
So that's not love. They had an arrangement.
Well, I mean,
when you look at it,
clearly, but there's a lot of that go on.
Yeah.
But that's not love. Then that's not true love, because let's say that happens, you're supposed to be backing up 100% no matter.
But but that's how you feel about it. Somebody might do, really truly love somebody and whatever, but they just saying, I'm not supporting you. I didn't get
I
into
thought
it.
when you marry, it's
which
for
is
better,
very
for worse.
That's what we all think, but that's not always
That's
the
what
case.
we all think.
That's not always
But
the case.
so
But
being supportive. So you think a
Absolutely.
woman needs to be supportive by now. Do you think that because we talked about this too, if you were in a place where like you couldn't provide a bill, that she should be able to provide that?
Yes, for sure. But I don't think she's obligated to do that.
Okay.
But the person she is, absolutely.
Okay.
My wife hasn't worked in a few years, but before we
Shout
had
out
the
to your
baby-
wife.
Ask him if he has a brother.
Oh, do you have a brother?
He does
Yeah, I
have a
do.
brother.
No, single.
yeah, he's single.
No situationships, none of that.
Wait, he
stuff.
baby though. You said nobody younger than you, so.
Right.
It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
Oh, for her.
No. I'm unavailable.
Wait, how old is he? First of all, how old is he?
Was it 32?
Okay, my daughter's 29. I go hook them up.
Okay.
You see, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You see,
I thought she had a boyfriend. Okay, never mind.
my daughter, no, she doesn't have a
Anyway, you don't want to go from tell him say that no. All
my
right.
son, 32. Come on.
But I love that you
Yeah.
two have that connection.
Yes, that's amazing.
Where you made a decision, you brought it to her. She was, even though she is not, like
I mean,
you say,
look, she don't agree with everything I do.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but
she-
she supported
Yeah.
what you.
Yeah.
But
For
that
sure.
to me, that means that she trusts you, right? And she trusts that you can uplift the family, hold y'all down, like regardless of what happens. She still has faith in you and trusts you.
Absolutely.
Not
Right.
every woman has that with their significant others. So you may have made that choice, and she's like, oh, it could have been a whole different thing, like you said,
Yeah.
not supporting or whatever.
Yeah,
but she's
exactly.
Picking up where
I just think
so
I think it's just
good.
major because everybody goes through things. The
Right.
other thing, part of the statistics is 40% have never spoken to anyone about their mental health. So we're talking about men. So 29% are too embarrassed to speak about it, and then 20% say that there is a negative stigma on the issue.
On saying that, speaking to a therapist.
And so I think so
Well,
a lot
I think I touched a little bit on it earlier before we were on set, but like with TA Boxing, right? I'm creating, and we have a community of men. We're now building our women's program, but speaking to the men's program, where guys come in, they get a great workout in, they're learning the sport of boxing, they're relieving stress, they're releasing any trauma that they've been through.
Yeah.
We laugh, we talk about real life situations that we're going through. So like I'm not only
therapeutic.
training these
You're a
guys.
therapist.
So
Yeah,
you're actually teaching them to be men,
Absolutely.
to handle any kind of
I
pressure.
have a blog. We write articles, and for the boxing part of it, my part, I always talk to how boxing training translates into real life and manhood.
Yes.
And there's too. I could talk
And we
hours
need that
about
in
it.
our
Yeah.
society right
That's
now.
allowing
We
men
don't have men. They are men, but they're not true men like you, like your grandfather. There's a lot of guys who say they're men. They're just don't do what you're supposed to do as a man.
But I think a lot of it is just their family dynamics, not being
Yeah, I was just
fortunate
about
enough
to
to live in a household, or even in a family, or being around people who can uplift them, that are positive role models. And so that's why it's important for you to do what you do. Okay, so
You think
like
about back
yeah,
in the
don't
day, too.
don't stop. Okay,
sure.
because maybe that's the reason
absolutely.
why you took that leap of faith, and I believe that people come across in your life for a reason, and so for you to reconnect with like all of it is
absolutely, yeah.
I just think that it's important because you just don't really understand how much you can save a person's life.
Yep.
That's and
true.
I think that we'll definitely obviously promote it, but putting
Excuse me.
Creating a platform for people to be able to be guided and to
Be
have some type
vulnerable,
of
be emotional.
stress relief.
But at the same time too, you have girls, right? So you're teaching your girls to expect that from a man. Most us, like we were raised without a father sometimes. So we think that it's normal.
My dad was there.
No, but in my case, it's not. And then we get used to like, okay, you have to be dominant. You have to be this person that you have to become a man. That's why the girls.
So
make
she's
fun of me.
basically saying she's basically just giving the reason of why she's masculine.
Oh, no, not me. There's a lot of women.
It's just that we were talking about it. So this is why she's
But this is what I'm
masculine,
saying.
guys.
We have to take the role as men, not because we chose. We didn't have a choice.
That's all you know.
Because we don't. Yeah, exactly. We don't have like in my family, dynamic. All the females ruled the house because the man wasn't really men. They're just like, okay, whatever, and they wouldn't even provide. So we had to go out and work. We had to do everything.
Right.
And then we treat our baby boys like puppies, and then they become the same thing. And that's a culture that we have to break.
Yeah.
But
I
that's
love that you brought up culture though, because one
Yes.
thing that, as it relates to like mental health, right, what you're talking about, Jamie, I think some of it, our upbringing, therapy and stuff wasn't pushed in our family. You just you figure it out, like you said.
You were told,
you said
"Don't
a
cry.
lot. Be a man.
Suck
be
it
a
up.
man,
Suck it up."
right? But what happens in the house stays in the house.
Exactly.
Like you
Yeah.
don't go and talk to a
Exactly.
therapist. You
Not
don't
talk to no stranger.
You were
and tell
never
them-
encouraged to do those type of things. My mother and father, they got a divorce when I was in high school. That tore me, right? And now I know I should have went to therapy and stuff for that
Right.
back then. But that wasn't pushed in your family. So to create a platform like that for people to be, because not everybody is going to do therapy, right? But there are other forms of therapy, I believe. So something
Absolutely.
like this, boxing, that is a form of therapy, right? So creating that
That's a great
space,
workout. Whew.
yes, for people to be able to, especially men, to be vulnerable. You saying outside of even boxing, like
Right.
communicating on,
absolutely.
posts and different things
Yeah.
like that. They're releasing and they're
Yeah.
allowed to be emotional and not be judged about it, right? Be supported, which I think is what our community, black community for sure, needs, right?
Absolutely.
So I love
I'm
what you're
thinking of
doing.
marketing
I'm so
stuff
proud
for
of you.
boxing. So like you got Mother's Day, Father's Day. I'm sure you guys do those things. But a singles boxing event,
Oh.
that is true.
Oh, that's a good
That's
one.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's
a
interesting.
singles boxing event.
So,
I can help
my
you. I
plan-
can help you.
She want to teach you first. You training in there on your
Oh,
first
yes.
session.
One of my goals.
But I do.
One of my goals for the year, and I'm on pace. I'm actually ahead of. If I keep this pace, I'll exceed the number. But I wanted to do one event per month,
Okay.
whether it was in-house at our facility or just attending an event.
Okay.
But something to promote boxing. But the Galentine's one, shout out to Maria.
Yes.
And everybody that came.
Yes.
It was a great event. That was actually an idea she pitched to me, and it worked out great.
No,
So,
it definitely was great.
Yeah. But yeah, we definitely got plenty of events coming.
Yeah.
Special ed, remember?
Special ed. First of all, we were not special ed. Maria, I'm not even gonna let them talk like that about us. Okay.
Oh, Maria was in your group too? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, but we were the fun group because when they came,
No, they
through,
were a lot
we
of
like,
fun. They were a lot of
oh,
fun.
I see why you like them better because they're all.
I'm
like,
gonna tell you, I didn't know
like-
that they I didn't know it was a special ed group. I just know y'all group wasn't,
Okay.
like.
We were just having fun. We
I
were.
know. It was a
Don't
good
make me
time.
We even took a run outside, and I acted like I was running. I was like, "That's right, guys." Anyway, don't judge me.
girl.
What's your partner's name?
KDL, what we call him Key, like
Key.
Key.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Shout out to you, Key.
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say something. Yeah. So any events that you have that you need some assistance, I would definitely love to
Thank you.
help.
Because she's a pro now.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
a pro
yeah.
now.
I just like
She
that
gonna-
stuff.
she gonna be
Okay.
holding
Call her
the
SC. SC.
I'm gonna be what? Holding
Holding
the
the
mitts.
mitts.
That's right.
Don't drop your hand.
I'm be with your dad like, no, none of this. I don't want to see none of this.
Yeah.
All right. So what was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you, what's the most, in your opinion, what's the most important strength and personality trait that someone needs to be successful in your job, but maybe just not in your job, but maybe in somewhere in the field that you do, even if they were actually, boxing or whatever.
Well,
you're an
for what I do
entrepreneur.
now,
Yeah.
well, yeah, exactly. I think you just got to be a people's person, right? You got to know how to talk to people, be relatable, listen, be able to listen to what people have to say, and just be able to also teach, right? Like that's what I do. I teach.
Good teacher listens. Yep.
Yeah. So, and being able to just work with a wide variety of people. We all come from different backgrounds. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just be somebody that can relate to the people.
And then right now with your business, like what's a major challenge or failure like in your career? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So TA boxing, like I said, it's fairly new, right? We just hit a year in January. TA, Training Aspects, has been around, I believe, since 2009. So boxing is a new branch. So we're building it up from the ground up. So one of the biggest challenges now is well, like I said, I'm trying to build a women's program. Not trying, I'm building a women's program.
Right.
So I'm trying to get more women in.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like I know a lot of people.
I'll be there.
Yeah. So,
I gotta come.
but yeah, no.
Yeah, we're gonna book a day for like the podcast.
Yeah, we
Yes,
gotta
we
go.
should.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's been a challenge, getting more women in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something that I went into the new year with. Wanted to get more women in, so it's still early on in the year, but like I said, it's just trying to figure out what works best with actually creating the program. Scheduling and times and things of that nature. But outside of that, it's going pretty good. But you face day-to-day challenges,
Right.
not just with the women's program, but like just being a trainer in general. But it's coming along. So
Yeah.
Does does your wife box?
not currently because
Okay.
she's pregnant.
Right.
But she did. So my wife, when I proposed 2019, and we got married 13 months later in 2020. And she, for 6 months, did boxing with me, but then cardio boxing with the other place I was working for. I mean, she dramatically changed her body through boxing.
Oh wow.
And she loved it, but then life just hit us, started having babies.
Yeah, kids.
And the pandemic.
Yeah, and it's another thing. COVID kind of slowed us down a little bit.
Right.
I mean, we got married in the heat of it, but
Yeah.
but yeah, outside of that, she loves boxing.
Okay.
Well, you said so. You're about to have your fourth kid. Your fourth.
Third biological, yes. I have
Okay.
a stepdaughter who's my baby. I
Right.
met her like
So
she
how
was
old are your
2.
kids?
13, 12, 2, and then the baby is in the belly doing May.
Doing May. May what?
24th.
Okay, my daughter's a 29. Ooh, that's a Gemini.
All girls, all girls.
I'm a Gemini. What's the who for? Don't
I
do it.
forgot.
Don't do it.
I love you though. Maybe because
What's
you're
the
my daughter.
difference?
I love my daughter too, but woo,
Which one?
The middle one.
Oh.
She's a middle one. She's a Gemini. She's but anyway.
you
So
love
yes,
us.
you're about to. So I'm a girl mom. You're a girl dad, right? Brandy got 4. You
I have a
one
girl.
each.
You
How
want a
about
beach.
3 girls.
I have a
one boy.
29-year-old
Yes.
and 24-year-old.
How
Yes.
cute. One of each. I didn't
And
get
you
to
don't want
experience
you
that.
just try one more time for that
can't do
boy.
5,
I'll tell you
girls. I
some
can't do
tricks.
5,
I'll give you
girls.
some tricks. All right? We can talk on the side.
Yeah.
None of them tricks work, okay? None of them tricks work.
So if you could end, you had any other questions?
No, I think that's really it.
If you can give us just a summary of why people should choose boxing, why they should come to you,
So,
where are you located? Just give us a little.
well, we're located
20-second elevator speech.
Yes.
So TA Boxing, we're located in the Flyers Training Center in Voorhees, New Jersey, Voorhees Township. TA Boxing, as I touched on earlier, it's a place, a community where you can come and focus on your health and wellness. You know, put your mental first, change your body, surround yourself with like-minded individuals that want to get better each and every day. And you know, it's just something that I think, as you know, both men and women, you would enjoy, have a good time, and
yeah, it definitely is a total body workout, and I literally felt amazing afterwards.
Yeah.
And I was so glad.
I always
Something
say-
I've been
So, I
wanting
have
to do
one
and just
question.
never haven't tried it yet.
How long
You
does it
have
take to transform your body by boxing?
It depends on the individual, right? But I have quite a few clients that or members that have changed their physique. One kid, I love talking about him. He's a collegiate hockey player. He came in a little pudgy. I want to say like 227 he came in, and he started with me last July. For a month he was like inconsistent, but then end of August hit, and he did. I mean, the kid was coming 4 times a week, and he's trying to. We're going to put a program around him to bulk him up a little bit, but he's like 188. So from like 227
Right.
to 188,
pure
he's
muscle.
lean.
Right.
He lost a significant amount of weight, but he's strong. You know, boxing does a lot for your body, right? You know, I mean, he's quicker on his feet. His hand-eye coordination is great. But that's just some of the stuff outside of his physique. He really slimmed down,
Right.
And it's transferred over onto the ice. So, yeah.
And what's the youngest you are open to?
I really don't like putting an age on it.
Okay.
Most boxing gyms won't take kids. I don't know if it's 6 or 8, but you know, I'll work with a kid as young as 4 or 5, right?
Okay. Bring
But
my
it's not
son.
going to be, you know.
I was thinking about my grandson.
It's
gonna be
very-
obviously different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
And you have
Yeah.
like monthly plans or yearly?
Yeah, we
Like,
have
how is it?
we have quite a few programs,
Okay.
but pretty much to give you how it goes, I bring you in for an assessment.
Okay.
We take a look at where you're at, where your physical ability is at, right, your fitness ability, and then I talk to you and figure out what your goals are, like what do you want to do,
Right.
And then we build a program around you, but everyone has to go through one-on-ones before they can get into our group training.
Okay.
So, because it's like, I can't put you in a group if you don't have the basic fundamentals, right?
Right.
So we go through the one-on-ones, and then we put you into the small groups.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's group rates, and then there's our
Individual.
one-on-one rates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Nice.
Okay.
Nice. I'm gonna come
All right,
check
so
you out.
you know,
Yeah, I'll be
calendar's
there.
open.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Well, I'm going to end with a quote or just some words of advice.
Encouragements?
Yes, yes. We're getting back to that, guys. Okay. All right, so I want to say this. Stop caring. I had to write it all down just because I couldn't remember. Stop caring whether or not others like you. It doesn't really matter.
It does
Right,
not.
so-
It does
It
not.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We seek validation from others so much. I mean, myself even included, right? And even if we don't think that we do, right? So if a person doesn't talk to you or invite you to an event or include you in something, so what? It's okay. It doesn't
okay.
matter.
Absolutely.
You have people who are only here for a season, a reason. Maybe they're maybe
lifetime.
you can invite them to this particular event, but maybe you just don't feel like their personality is a fit for something else. It's okay. Every table isn't for you to sit at. So stop thinking that you have to, especially with social media. Like we watch others.
Oh, yes.
And you know what they do, and for whatever reason, like we seem to, you know, not like heart somebody because we just we don't want to heart them, as opposed to kind of like congratulating them on things like that. I even had people that have been my friends that I thought and don't come to any of my events or don't want to share anything or like anything or don't support me, and it's okay.
It is okay.
It's okay.
The ones
So-
that's supposed to be there will be there.
Yes, and
Yes.
and if all of those people are gone and you know we still have to get up the same way, right? So we're seeking validation from other people, wanting them to, you know, like us, but we're stuck with ourselves at the end of the day.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
you know, when
And
we
we
wake
had
up
to
in the
love
morning,
ourselves.
Yeah, so
That's so true.
you know, who cares?
Who cares?
Okay.
Who cares?
All right. Thank
I
you
love
so
that.
much.
No, thank you.
Yes,
No, we
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. All right.
We appreciate y'all.
Go get some.
Boxing is
Get-
therapeutic.
Yes, it
It's your
is.
medicine. You may not know, but it's your medicine.
There you
Yes.
go.
I love
Thank you guys.
that.
Like,
Ending it
comment,
right there.
subscribe, share.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Bye.